In his last 2 full seasons with Dallas, Luka Doncic averaged 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, carrying the team to the 2024 NBA Finals. But then, Nico Harrison shocked the world and traded the 25-year-old Slovenian superstar, with the blessing of the new owner, Patrick Dumont.
There's so much more to this that we don't know. He is no longer eligible for the Supermax. They cost him over $100 million by trading him from Dallas to LA and didn't care.
Many people called this the dumbest trade in NBA history. Hundreds of Mavs fans protested and demanded Nico to leave, but the nightmare was far from over. Since the Luka trade, everything else has turned to shit. First, AD got hurt, then Gafford went down, which left the Mavs without a proper big man, as Derek Lively was also injured. But then the final blow came when Kyrie blew out his ACL, as a direct correlation to the Doncic trade, because Irving led the NBA in minutes played since that fateful trade. And to add insult to all the injuries, on the same day Kyrie got hurt, Dumont and the new ownership group decided to raise season ticket prices.
The person who announced this week that y'all raising ticket prices,
the timing was impeccable.
You got to be the dumbest person in the history of civilization. And we got some dumb ones, as you can see right now.
Since Mark Cuban sold the team, everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. But how did this even happen? How and why did the new owners and Nico trade a guy who was supposed to become the best player in franchise history? The answer to that dates back to October of 2023, when longtime owner Mark Cuban sold the majority stake of the franchise to the Adelson family for a hefty price of $3.5 billion.
Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban has agreed to sell the majority of his stake in the team. The family of Miriam Adelson, the widow of the GOP donor and casino magnate Sheldon Adelson, have already entered into binding purchase agreements with Cuban to acquire majority ownership of the team.
The Adelsons are the founding family of Las Vegas Sands, the third largest casino company in the U.S., and the president and COO of the company, Patrick Dumont, didn't buy the Mavericks just to have a basketball team.
So I think Dallas as a community is a great place to do business.
Dumont married into the Adelson family, and as Miriam Adelson's son-in-law, he quickly rose through the ranks and became the company president. When he bought the Mavericks, Dumont did it with a clear goal: to legalize gambling in Texas and build a huge resort in Dallas that would include a casino, convention center, restaurants, and a new arena for the Mavs. Dumont also said that he wants to make the Mavericks the #1 team in the world in the next 20 years. And that would have been a problem if he inherited a struggling franchise nowhere near the playoffs, but he didn't. He inherited a team that just went to the NBA Finals, largely because of one man, Luka Doncic. And even though the blame for the Luka trade largely fell on Nico Harrison's shoulders, it was Dumont who gave Harrison the green light, clearly showing that he's not afraid to piss off an entire fan base.
This is crazy, man. We went to the NBA Finals. Why are we trading the best player, the franchise player?
But what made matters exponentially worse was that after the trade, Dumont had nothing good to say about Luka. In my mind, the way teams win is by focus, by having the right character, by having the right culture, and having the right dedication to work as hard as possible to create a championship-winning outcome. And if you're not doing that, you're going to lose. If you look at the greats in the league, the people you and I grew up with, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be part of the Dallas Mavericks. When Mark Cuban became the team owner back in 2000, he invested millions into the franchise, with the clear goal that its players and the fans have the best possible conditions, including a state-of-the-art practice facility, the most expensive private plane on the market, as well as the highest quality chefs, to ensure his staff and players enjoyed coming to work.
It's a full buffet laid out in the locker room: barbecue, beans, cornbread, biscuits, you name it. Links, all that, ribs. Right next to it is a cooler full of any beverage you would love.
Mark showed up to games in jeans and t-shirts, cheered on the team like a regular fan, yelled at the refs, and was quickly rewarded with love from Mavs fans and the entire Dallas community. But on the other hand, Dumont shows up to games in suits. He traded a guy who was supposed to become the best player in franchise history and showed that his main priority is making money. On March 3, 2025, amid all the injuries to the team and widespread hate towards management,
the Dallas Mavericks are increasing their season tickets by an average of 8.61%. How stupid are their PR people?
And if Mark Cuban had still been the owner, none of this would have happened. In 2020, Cuban said this: "If I had to choose between my wife and keeping Luka on the Mavs, catch me at my lawyer's office prepping for a divorce." But just 15 months after the sale of the team was finalized, DeMont and Nico Harrison stabbed Cuban in the back. Despite Luka's talent and him being one of the most accomplished 25-year-olds in basketball history, Harrison decided to trade Doncic. He wasn't willing to pay him a $345 million supermax.
I just say there's levels to it, and there's people that fit the culture and there's people that come in and add to the culture. And those are two distinct things. And I believe the people that were coming in are adding to the culture.
Now, Harrison is a nutrition freak who never liked Luka's off-court habits. He never believed that a guy with a few extra pounds could be a franchise player, despite all the evidence proving otherwise. Although, to be fair to Nico, he spent the majority of his career as a Nike representative, with Kobe Bryant as one of his primary clients. Now, Kobe's work ethic is unmatched, and if you compare anybody to that standard, you're likely going to be disappointed. But apart from Luka's taste for beer and hookahs, Harrison doubted his leadership ability and was sure Luka would become injury-prone in the future, despite Doncic always playing 60-plus games every season up to this point. Still, if this really was the case, why did he trade for Anthony Davis, who has proven to be injury-prone throughout his career? Since winning the 2020 title with the Lakers, AD played more than 60 games in a season only once, and at the time of the trade, he was nursing an abdominal injury. Furthermore, Davis is 32 years old. He's owed $112 million through 2027, and then he'll more than likely require another max extension. And by that time, AD will be 34 years old. So, for 2 years of Davis's prime, you gave up a decade of Luka's prime, and likely even more than that. Since his game isn't based on athleticism, there's no reason to believe he wouldn't be effective past the age of 35, which we can't say about Davis. Another glaring issue with the trade is the surprisingly low number of draft picks Harrison received in exchange for Doncic. Apart from Davis and Max Christie, who, in fairness to Harrison, is looking like a great future asset, the Mavericks received only one future first-round pick, which is laughable for a player of Luka's caliber. In the last couple of seasons, the Jazz received a total of 7 first-rounders and 3 pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, while the Nets negotiated 5 first-round picks and a pick swap for Mikal Bridges. Even though all 3 of those guys are quality players, none of them are Luka Doncic. The Lakers had 2 first-rounders to trade, plus this year's rookie Dalton Knecht, and if Harrison demanded it, the Lakers would have accepted, because hello, this is Luka Doncic we're talking about. But maybe because of his friendship with Rob Pelinka, Harrison didn't insist on Knecht and that extra first-rounder, and that's how the Lakers got their next franchise player. It's still unclear why Harrison only talks to the Lakers, because if he made Luka available to the entire league, the draft capital he would have gotten would have been much greater. But still, despite all the criticism, Anthony Davis made the trade look somewhat acceptable in his Mavericks debut. AD dominated against the Rockets with 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks in just 31 minutes of action. But then, a disaster. Davis, a player whom Charles Barkley jokingly named Street Clothes,
Call him Anthony Street Clothes Davis, because he's always in street clothes.
fell to the floor without contact, re-injuring his abdomen and proving all the haters right, leaving the Mavs to respond in the worst way they could. Since they were so eager to numb all the negative chatter around the team, they rushed AD's return, and it bit him in the ass.
It's a left adductor strain. He's going to miss at least multiple weeks, as Shams and I reported yesterday. They hope it's not more than a month.
Just 1 day later, a fan got ejected from a game after saying "Fire Nico," which is another thing that would have never happened if Cuban was still there. Now, we don't know if you believe in karma or basketball gods, but if there are some, they were pissed at Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont, because just 3 days after Davis went down with an injury, center Daniel Gafford sprained his knee. Klay Thompson and PJ Washington also missed games, and without nearly all of their starting lineup, the shorthanded Mavs had to rely heavily on their last remaining star, Kyrie Irving. So, in February, Kyrie led all NBA players in minutes played, which proved to be a colossal mistake, because on March 3rd against the Kings, Kyrie landed awkwardly and grabbed his knee in pain, just like his mentor and idol Kobe Bryant, who led the NBA in minutes played in the month before he tore his Achilles. Kyrie then stepped to the free throw line and sank both freebies.
Got it. The Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. got it.
But following the game, an MRI confirmed the worst possible scenario. Irving tore his ACL and would miss the rest of the season.
Irving went down and immediately signaled for a trainer. The ACL tear was diagnosed this morning, and Irving will be out for the rest of this season and maybe next as well.
And to add insult to all the injuries, Luka was thriving. On February 25th, the Lakers defeated the Mavericks in a game where Luka notched his first triple-double in purple and gold. It was part of an 8-game win streak for LA, with Doncic making the Lakers instant title contenders and showing the Mavs ownership how short-sighted they really were. And in the midst of everything, another transaction by Nico Harrison went largely unnoticed when he traded Quentin Grimes to Philadelphia for Caleb Martin. This deal made sense, in theory, because Grimes is an upcoming free agent and the Mavs would need to pay him more than Martin will earn next season. But in reality, the Mavs just got another injured player, while Grimes had been thriving in Philadelphia.
And he drills it!
On March 1st, while Martin still never suited up for the Mavs, Grimes scored 44 points for the Sixers, which was his third game with 30-plus points in less than 1 month with Philadelphia. Similar to Luka, the Mavs traded another player with a better upside for a veteran. And so far, the Mavs got 10 cents on the dollar. Harrison and Dumont pissed off an entire city. The 2025 season went down the drain. And to make matters even worse, they're going to have to double down on their decisions. Kyrie Irving has a $44 million player option next year. And there's 99% chance he's going to opt out of that deal. But wait, why would Kyrie do that? Since he's not even going to be healthy at the start of the next season? The answer lies in one word: leverage. Irving knows that the Mavs can't replace him, and they won't have enough salary cap to sign a free agent of his caliber. Bang! Because they have his bird rights, the Mavs can give Irving a big extension. But they can't offer that kind of money to someone else. So Irving can essentially force their hand, knowing Harrison is committed to him and doesn't have a second option. Irving will celebrate his 33rd birthday in late March, which means that he'll be 34 years old by the time he gets healthy in 2026. Anthony Davis will be 33 by then, and Clay will be 36, meaning that the Mavericks' title window is woefully small and is shrinking by the minute. But hey, those guys might be old, expensive, and injury-prone, but at least they fit Nico's culture. They don't drink beer and smoke hookahs. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, we have another one for you right here.